everyone! We're going to learn about making a pinch pot with clay. Here are some examples of things that were made with clay. Even this pencil container was made using clay. This is wet clay that came right out of the bag. The clay that we use is called white modeling clay. Right now, the clay is dark gray. You can see that the clay is easy to bend and smash. This little bowl or cup made of clay has been fired. That means that I cooked it in a machine called a kiln. The kiln gets really, really hot. It can get up to 2,000 degrees. After the clay's been fired in the kiln, it's very hard and it feels like your dish is at home. After the clay's been fired in the kiln one time, we're going to paint it with something called glaze. The glaze is like glass, and when the glaze is painted on the clay, I put it back in the kiln and cook it up one more time, and then it comes out shiny and brightly colored. So to make a pinch pot, the first thing that you need to do is make your clay shaped into a ball. So take it in your hands, and you're going to press it using this part of your hand, the palm of your hand. Press it and turn it around and around until you get a nicely shaped ball. This isn't a nicely shaped ball yet, okay? Right now, there's lots of bumps and wrinkles. I can smooth out those bumps and wrinkles using my thumb. You can press the clay together. You can rub the bumps and wrinkles until they disappear. Did you notice I'm working with a piece of paper on my table? That's because if ever I set my clay down on the table, it might stick. If I set it down on the paper, it doesn't stick at all. So I'm going to press this piece of clay in my hand until I get a nicely shaped, smooth ball. It doesn't have to be perfectly smooth, but if you make it pretty smooth, it'll be a little bit easier. This is a pretty good ball. So now I'm going to stick my thumb inside the middle of my ball, like this. Obviously, I'm not going to leave it on my thumb. So I pull my thumb out, and I have a nice hole right in the middle of my ball. The next thing I'm going to do is use my hand and my thumb together so that they look like a duck bill, okay, like a quacker. Okay, so I'm going to take my quacker, and I'm going to stick my thumb back in my clay, and then I'm going to pinch and turn. You can set it down on the table to do this if you want, and that's kind of nice because your paper will slide and turn on the table. I'm punching with my fingers on the outside, and my thumb is on the inside. So pinch and turn until you have a little bowl shape. You don't want to leave your clay really thick. Right now, my clay is still really thick. This part, the walls of my little clay bowl are still really thick. So I want to keep pinching. I can even gently tap my bowl on the table to make it have a flat bottom. See how that's very flat? Okay, so I'm going to pinch and turn until my walls of my bowl or the sides of my bowl get a little bit skinnier. You don't want them to be so skinny that they're going to break. You probably want them to be about as thick as your pinky finger. Once my hole gets a little bit bigger in my bowl, I can actually start to use two hands. Pinch and turn. Now I'm pinching and turning up a little bit higher on the top of my bowl. Before, when I was pinching and turning, I was working with my fingers way down at the bottom. Now, as my bowl gets taller, I'm going to start pinching a little bit around the top. As you do this, if you get wrinkles, you can raise your hand and I'll come around and bring you a tiny little bit of water that will help get the wrinkles and cracks to disappear when you put a little water on it and you rub it. See, I can rub it with my finger. There's a little crack right there. I can take my finger and rub it and it just disappears. I think my bowl is finished. The last thing you need to do so that you know your bowl is yours is to write your name on the bottom. To do this, we're going to use pencil, not because the pencil lead makes a mark on the clay like it does on paper, but because when you use pencil, it's going to squish the clay in and make an indentation. Be sure you put your full name because I don't want anybody to steal your beautiful pinch pot clay bowl.